Good afternoon, and thank you, Dr. Raju Churi. I am really thankful to OTAI for conferring this very prestigious J.G. KANE award. In fact, I was under impression earlier that this award is basically for all the scientists who are doing a lot of R&D work and a lot of paper publishing and all that. But then afterwards I came to know it is a contribution to the industry and to the market and all that. So in fact, when I say this is exactly 25 years back photograph. I don't know, many of you may not be present during that, or I can see a lot of students at the backstage, back benches. They might be a toddler at that time. If you remember, in 1999, I launched this technology, soft column technology, in New Delhi, and exactly after 25 years, I will try to explain how this soft column was developed and what are the difficulties and how the market attacked in the beginning this particular technology, whether it will work or not. And there are so many other development taking place. Now what is the position after 25 years? Probably we will discuss that. But before that, there is a disclaimer. See, I am getting old, so might so happen that I may go blank during my presentation. Please forgive me if that happens. In that case, whatever I say during my talk, trusting it or not is up to your best judgment and would be doing so entirely at your own risk and costs. But fats and oil containing omega-3 fatty acids are said to be able to prevent dementia, and that is the role of oil technologies in India. Oil technologies is everywhere. They are in oil market, they are in detergent market, they are in oleochemical market. So what I am standing here and saying that I am a born oil technologist, I am living as an oil technologist, and I will die as an oil technologist. I am a proud oil technologist. Now, it is very difficult to cover 38 years activities or 38 years what I have done, or probably what a wrong thing or what a good thing I have done in the industry in 30 minutes, but I will try to go very quickly through the things. First of all, 1976 to 1983, that was a period, and I believe that I am destined to be an oil technologist. In fact, I wanted to MBBS doctor. I didn't get the admission. I wanted to be a dental surgeon, but then my application reached late. I didn't get the admission. I got an admission in NSD, National School of Drama, as an actor, because just to share with you, I have acted in 50 to 60 technical drama stage. During that time, in fact, Farooq Sheikh, Nina Gupta and all that, they were there in my colleague that time. And that time somebody told me, if you do this drama, what will you eat? So I have to leave that. Suppose I would have continued there, you would have seen me on the screen, and Imami would have taken me in for advertisement. Okay, now if you see, the admission to UDCT was also by flip. There are only 4 seats for our region, and I was the 5th. Now, afterwards, I got the admission later, that I got an admission. So I said, how come? Exactly the way I didn't get the admission for dental surgeon, that cause become handy here, because the person who was first, his application reached late, and I got the admission. That's why I said, I am destined to be a technologist. Then, of course, Dr. Professor Ribello, Dr. T.K. Venkatesan, V.V.R. Subramanian, they are 3 stalwarts. We are lucky to have these 3 professors who guided us. I remember one thing for Dr. Ribello, in the very first BSc Tech exam, there is a periodic test. That time, I have written a paper, and he has written a very beautiful note, how to do FFA and all that, in the beginning. And when I got the paper, I thought I will get A grade. But when I got the paper, he gave me D grade. I said, why you gave D grade? He says, Mr. Kapadia, I wanted to know what is the basics of that. Procedure anybody can write. procedure anybody can. And that has given me an indication what is important in gaining knowledge or understanding the subject is the clearing the basic. Procedure is not important, what is basic is important. Then, of course, I started as a Godrej a lab chemist because I wanted to pay my fees for MSc Tech. So in the night shift, I used to do Godrej lab chemist, do night shift in a Godrej lab chemist, come to Dadar, take 1.5 rupees vada pav, that is the breakfast for me, then go to UDCT for MSc Tech, and then evening go to Agrawal classes for checking the paper. That is the initial struggling period for me. Then of course I have done BSc Tech and MSc Tech. MSc Tech I have done under Professor VVR, and that was basically on the hydration of castor oil in stereo. Then 1983 to 89, that was finding feet in industry. Alana oil mill. Okay, I will not go everything, but otherwise the conference will be something full of this only. So I'll very briefly I'll go through it. There one thing I have understood very clearly, there when I joined as a shift in charge, I asked, at that time I was very new, I didn't know how that vacuum creation or vacuum generation works. So one of the operator that time, I asked him, can you explain me how vacuum is produced? He says, beta, please wait for 2 minutes. He took me to show some overhead water tank, and he said, whenever we want vacuum, we open the wall and we take the vacuum. That has given me a clarity that whatever you want to understand, it is you who has to do it. Nobody is going to help you in the industry. Then 1985 to 1989 to 95, that is SFO dewaxing, PCD development, soft column R&D, this activity was there. I will cover that briefly afterwards. Then entry to global industry. In 1995 to 2001, I entered the global industry. In the sense, my first deputation was of China, and that is my basic duty that time, or basic assignment given to me, to create an Indian market or Indian equipment market in China. And you know that during those times, Indian equipment, there is a tremendous mental block. So first challenge was to overcome that mental block. And then of course, after the successful journey or successful work in China and other things, I got expatriate global job or global assignment, which put me in Sweden as a product manager. I will just briefly discuss that in coming slides. Now coming to the main, what we have done, or I have done, or probably as a team, it is not very fair to say that I have done it, because every work done, there is not possible to be done by one person. It has to be a teamwork. So whatever I am going to share with you, it is a teamwork, not only my work. PCD development in 1989 and in 92, it was launched in SOPA conference. That was the first thing. Then soft column deodorization technology, Tumba. It was from 1992 to 1999. It was launched in OTI conference 1999, which photographs I have shown you. Then biodiesel technology transfer, because we went to Italy. Biodiesel was a new subject or new technology for India, and just getting Italian equipment or Italian technology to India would have been very, very costly. So we decided, I was being deputed to Italy. We have taken that, understood the technology, and there is a technology transfer to India, and that was launched in IICT 2005. Then, of course, QS deodorizer technology when I was in DISMET, but I am not going to touch much on that. The another important development during my DISMET India period time was developing a RBO dewaxing winterization process with a super filter, that is a Japanese technology, and then another one is WinWax 2003-2004. And of course, using that to do a combined dewaxing and winterization of rice bran oil. Today what we do, rice bran oil dewaxing is done first, and afterward the winterization is done. 2 steps. So here the process is developed in such a way by using a mobilizer, by using your membrane filter, that we can do both the process in one step. Probably I will discuss afterwards. Now, when we started thinking what should be the deodorizer, or because that time what happened, deodorization market was very, very shaky. Nobody was very clear what is required and what is not required. So in fact, that time what we decided, okay, what is exactly demand for RBD oil. So we said test water white color, PSA SB color, low FFA, low trans increase, tocopherol retention, tocopherol removal. Now these are the things were required by the market. Now, different market, different needs. What is required in India may not be required in Europe. What is required in Europe might not be required in India. And what is required in India and Europe might not be approved by Asia or Asian countries. So what was the deodorization technology that should be developed? Should have these attributes: economy, quality, and flexibility. Low steam consumption has to be there. Then stability test. Then trans fatty acids should be low, and optimized product quality. If you see now, we are talking trans fatty acid transit now, but it has started discussions already in 1992. So discussion is not now, because trans fatty acid and all that we used to discuss long back. So if you see that all the drivers to the deodorization industry, where one is financial, that is cost, capacity, technology. Another is regularity, safety, environmental, and commercial. Evolving, the consumer demands are continuously evolving. We have to address, we have to attend the customer demands. And that is exactly the dilemma. Which technology, which type of technology is good? Is a tray type technology, stripper, or best of both? Finally, it comes to best of both, but then this was I'm just sharing with you how the development took place for the soft column. क्या हुआ the first species stripper and seed oils, when we started developing this. We have done a lot of field R&D trials. In fact, one of my colleagues sitting in the audience, Mr. Chame, he was deeply involved in some of the commissioning. He will remember a rice bran oil in Venkatrama, Kakinada. Trials, failures and successes. Okay, that setup means when we started team for soft column R&D development and launch. I was stationed there as a Kamlesh Kapade product manager for vessel-based technology. Anders Hillstrom was from Sweden. He was responsible for design, engineering and simulation. Peter Schoberg, who was doing the development, POS trials and innovation. Ole Steinberg, he was concept and R&D implementation. And then, of course, Yuval Otakaraff and Douglas Wilson, they are doing communication, sales and marketing. And USA, Europe and Asia technology launch was my responsibility. And of course, on-field PCD evaluation trials, KNK, Blake Hendricks and YC Wong. YC Wong is Lipico's man. So this was the team we developed in the 1992 and we started working. Then why PCD and related experiments? Main concern, when we started developing pack column deodorizer or stripper, main concern was packing polymerization issue. A lot of noise was there. Everybody was talking that this stripper or this will not work because there is a polymerization and all that. Heat decolorization, holding time. What is important, that holding time is very important for the, people say heat bleaching, I call it decolorization. Heat decolorization was also important aspect. Then European industry set up India. So what we decided, okay, we'll take a risk. So we decided to set up two type of setup in India. Why in India? Because if we fail in India, nobody will notice. But if you fail in Europe, everybody will notice. That is the Indian reputation at that time. Then there was a concept whether stripper should be the first place and holding vessel second, or holding vessel should come first and stripping vessel after. Because this all confusion that time, because everything was new. We are not very sure what to do, what not to do. Then we have done one trials also, which Raisban people are talking about today. We have done in 1992 or 1998. 30% FFA processing, that is GR Agro Barabanki. I don't know whether Mr. Ajay Jhunjhunwala is there, who is a who is a CA president, because he has, I appreciate his patience. He has helped us quite a lot that time. Then, during Venkatrama process, when we had a first experience of fire in stripper, maybe Chame may be remembering that. And that time we realized how the shell is hot and open, how the packing gets fire immediately. That manhole opening linked with temperature sensor was developed that time. And first retrofit installation we have done. Retrofit means the existing deodorizer, you can add stripper and you can increase the capacity. That happened in Cargill, Sioux City, Iowa. Okay, as I explained, why pack column first choice of look into, because it is FFA volatile removal is very easy and extremely large mass transfer surface, holding time is less than 5 minutes. So before we taking the trial, we have done a lot of POS trials in Singapore and POS trials in Malaysia. I will not go into details, but I have seen the arrows. If you see here, what we notice that everything is okay, fine. But retention time, even at 225 degrees centigrade, 5 minutes, the color gets reduced from 7 to 4. So that has given us an idea of flexible holding time, where the holding time required 60 minutes, 90 minutes or 30 minutes. That idea came from this. Of course, I will not go into further details, because if you have the paper distributed now, you can go through that and you get all the details. Similarly, tocopherol retention or removal. That has been shown at various stripping steam and various temperature, because that has helped us to design the soft column in such a way that soft column retention can be considered as a plus points. Then, as I said, there are two setups. Rice barn physical refining process, where the retention first means we have holding vessel first and then followed by stripper. And what we experienced that we landed up in two setup. What we noticed during that time, that it was sensitive to air. For first time we have experienced that fire in the packing. FFA reduction was okay, like from 8% down to 0.5%, but holding section did not give a fair results. In the sense, FFA removal and all that was not possible. And instead of heat bleaching color was getting fixed. That was the first reaction, that holding vessel before stripper is not a good idea. Now, there is another installation of rapeseed oil, that is a seed oil. That was rice bran oil, this is seed oil. That was in UP somewhere. There we have done a second setup, and there after repeated trial we concluded that no significant clogging in the packing happens. So that was a sigh of relief, that the basic fear that the clogging will happen in the packing is removed completely. So we are free to go ahead with new concept or new technology. FFA reduction was very good, and very good color reduction was also at 225 degrees centigrade. Steam, now what is happening there? Steam strip deodorized material, like if you see that there is a deodorizer vessel is at the bottom, when you inject the steam, the odoriferous material goes, and when the oil coming down from the stripper, it is getting mixed. So what comes to deodorizer is again contaminated with the odoriferous material. That has given us idea to have the external duct and connecting all the holding vessel connecting to bottom of the stripper. So I am sharing all these days that today what you see the deodorization technology, what you see the today soft column technology, or what you see the stripper in almost all the deodorizer, there is a basic work or basic ideas behind it. Then this was that time, we were talking about trans India. There is a water white color is required. So that time we have noticed that if you want a water white color, trans fatty acid will increase higher. So we have to have the in between somewhere, not very light color, but trans fatty acid control. And that's how the final concept has come out: stripping first and retention later. Why? Because first portion is the physical process. That means multi-stage steam distillation, control by steam and temperature. And second is FFA of removal of FFA and other volatile. And second portion is nothing but a chemical process. Retention time, control by time and temperature, and deodorization and bleaching. The first process is fast. Second process can be flexible. This is how the concept was developed. Now this is very interesting. When we have done rice bran, high FFA 30%, that was idea was like that, how to make that 30% rice bran oil edible. In the sense, it cannot be edible, but how to make it edible. In the sense, reduction of 30% FFA from 30% to 4%. And now that 4% FFA do neutralization and bleaching and deodorization. But that was failed miserably because FFA reduction was 26%, not doubt. But when we started doing a neutralization of that, we saw a lot of emulsions. Why? Because even the FFA is removed, DG and MG remain in the main body, and that was creating a problem. So that was a good lesson we had. And secondly is that we understood one thing, that structural packing for every oil is not same. Sometimes the middle structure packing structural details or middle packing configuration will be different from the top and bottom. That has rice bran has given us that idea. And of course, there are a lot of other things which I cannot share because some of the things confidential or proprietary information by respective companies. Then we went for a product innovation. FDV valve, VH heat exchangers, combined PCD, flexible holding, air leakage detector, and this one. So if you see, FDV valve was basically in the holding vessel, and it is fast draining valve. We can control the holding time right from 5 minutes up to 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Of course, after some time, I'll just come back to that. These are the all product innovation was done during my period when I was in station in Sweden. If you see, left side is VHE final heater. VHE, of course, now most of the people know this equipment. But when we discovered in 1993, nobody was knowing this because that time it was very important that deodorization and cooling has to take place under vacuum. Earlier it was not possible. Earlier it was done externally. So this concept may be known today, but that time it was a real new concept. Now if you see here, flexible holding, you can see that the first holding vessel was only vessel. There was no baffle. That means after stripping, when oil comes to holding vessel, it will remain there, bubble it and come out. And that's how FDV was. But after later on, we came to know that it is not enough. It is not only the residence time, it is the cleanliness of stripping steam. It is the volume of the steam. That also plays important role. Now that's why slowly, this holding vessel from plain, it has got certain trays. And that's why if you say today in the market, deodorization, you will see that tray and stripper, both are combined together. And that was, right time is a double O searing, that is a air leakage is an issue because a slightest air leakage in pack column will catch a fire. Okay, that is the reason we have to develop a special this one. And that's how it is. If you see the stripping section, VHE, FDV, and that holding vessel, original holding vessel was like that. And then what we develop is a modular concept in the sense VHE, final heat exchanger and all that. And this was what we call, as a soft column was born at that time. Okay, I got a warning, so I had to go fast. Okay, then retrofit existing deodorizer because that was a new concept that time. So this was a picture from Kargil, City. That time, if you just add the stripper and VHE economizer, you can increase the capacity from 200 to almost up to 500 or 300 like that. So it was very easy solution at that time. Okay, this was dewaxing, winterization, WinWax filter which was developed. Concept, R&D, pilot plant and all that. When we are in, I was in Dismet as a team, we have developed this. You can see, and during this period, I don't know whether most of the people may know or may not know. A lot of students at the back benches probably they may not know this. That there are two types of waxes. One is crystallizable wax and another is non-crystallizable wax. So crystallizable waxes are above C40 to C58, they are the crystallizable waxes, and other was non-crystallizable is 366 to 340. Because when we do this GLC, if you do the gravimetric analysis, you get something like 1000 to 2000 ppm wax. But if you do GLC, you will get only 300 to 400 ppm. Why? Because GLC will not catch up that non-crystallizer waxes. That's the reason. And these are the step-by-step development. Like earlier it was lipofrac, then it was done a WinWax, and this super filter. All details are there in the paper. Probably the time is running short. I have to think of my next speaker also. This was the nano trials and results what we have taken during before nano launch in 2012. The results are very self-explanatory. Again, this is given in the paper. You can go through it. And if you want anything, I am there. We can discuss this afterwards. And this is how this nano was installed. It gives a less chemical, less absorbent, less effluents. And probably you will see this nano is everywhere in the market today. Okay, I'll just skip this because it will take time. RBO dewaxing winterization, the new application what I will discuss is that dewax oil cloud point is 4 degrees centigrade. Dewax yield is 95 to 97%. Now RBO winterization after acid degumming, bleaching and dewaxing, post-bleaching deodorization to cold test is 0 degree 5.5 hours. So what we have done a combined trials, and we have got a very good results. And if you see the last two lines, the winter's oil cold test is 0 degree 5.5 hours, and winter's oil yield was 90%. So it is more or less working, but this saves you a step of dewaxing, doing dewaxing separately. Okay, biodiesel technology. Biodiesel technology development and transfer from Italy, India, that all these steps were introduced that time. And today biodiesel technology can do a multi-stock processing, a multi-stock feedstock processing, UCO, and slowly there will be a new feedstock is coming, algae oil and all that. And lastly, we have done something for OTAI because my team, OTAI Western Zone team decided to bring all stakeholders on one platform. That's how FIKE was born. FIKE is Fats Oil International Conference. First time all the leading fats oil technology suppliers came together to mull over various ideas, issues in industry to shape up well-thought international conference. It has made with tremendous success as 500 plus delegates from all over globe participated. There are more than 22 speakers, more than 20 sponsors. That's how this is now becoming I would say, FIKE 2025 is going to be soft power in fats, oil and oleochemical industry. Thank you so much.